Let's get one eye on our main story. Boris Johnson telling MPs that his latest proposals to secure a Brexit deal are a compromise and a genuine attempt to bridge the chasm with the EU. The plans would see Northern Ireland stay in the European single market for goods but leave the customs union, resulting in new checks on the island of Ireland. Let's go to Joe Owen from the Institute for Government, joins me now from Westminster. And, any optimism there is not being shared in Europe. MEPs saying there are several problems, particularly over the customs union.
Yeah, that's right. I think Boris Johnson will probably be quite pleased with how things went behind us in the chamber with MPs from his party that had kind of been resolutely against Theresa May's deal, offering some warm words about this one. But what happened over in Brussels and also in Dublin, there's started to be a bit more pushback than there was yesterday around the deal, and it shows that it's not just about getting Parliament on side, but there needs to be a deal that's acceptable to the EU 27, and they've got some big issues with this one.
It was lively in the House of Commons, many people suggesting that Boris Johnson has put forward a deal he knows Europe will turn down because he is determined to have a no-deal Brexit.
Well, this all interfaces with the Ben Act and the potential that Boris Johnson will need to ask for an extension on the 19th of October. So while they're pushing for a potential no deal in some quarters of the Conservative Party, it is still completely unknown how they would achieve that, given what is in legislation. Now, the one way we know that the Ben Act could fall away is if the Prime Minister can get a majority of MPs to vote in favour of a deal before the 19th of October. But critically, that would require the EU to have signed up to a deal, and it would need to be a joint thing.
Joe, looking at what the feedback from the EU so far is, they're suggesting, reading between the lines, that effectively the real issue is that the issue of a frictionless border at the heart of the backstop, this does not solve it.
Exactly, and I think here you can see basically the two sides trying to solve different problems. From the UK side, they're saying, well, it wouldn't necessarily give us any infrastructure on the border and trade would be as frictionless as possible. Whereas the EU is saying, well, what we signed up to way back in December 2017 was that there would be no physical infrastructure of the border, but also no associated checks of any kind in order to protect the way that trade flows across that border is now. So at the moment, they're kind of trying to solve two different problems, and until there's a shared understanding, it looks very difficult to come up with a mutually agreed solution.
The difficulty for the government too, having to keep an eye on what's happening all around it, and of course we heard from Ian Blackford from the SNP saying, well, hang on, if you're prepared to do this for Northern Ireland, then perhaps Scotland should have a separate relationship with the EU as well.
Well, exactly. So you've heard that argument from Ian Blackford in Scotland, and this is actually, interestingly, one of the issues that the EU has as well, because the UK is asking for a whole load of derogations to its customs regulation in order to make this plan work. And one of the things that the EU is concerned about is that then all of a sudden borders all around the bloc, there will be neighbours saying, oh, well, we quite like that thing that Northern Ireland has got with the EU, and actually maybe we'd like an exemption for small traders along our border. So it's quite interesting that actually, the two sides are facing similar issues in that respect.
Joe, good to see you again. Joe, and thank you very much.